Hello everybody, this is Sodhi from CAAN Wings Consultants Private Limited. Welcome to my weekly YouTube session. In this particular session, I'm going to be today putting myself in your shoes. So what I basically mean to see is, I'm going to see where you're coming from and what are your major concerns regarding starting your process or further taking up your process that you might have started for Australian skilled migration. So there are 5 major concerns I've identified that people generally have when they do consider applying for Australia's skilled migration program. Let's take them up one by one. So the first concern I've identified is thinking it is you talking. So why should we start the process when the borders are still closed? So my answer to that question is that the borders are closed, but the Australia immigration does have a strategy and a tentative timeline in place as to when they're going to open the borders, and we're looking at mid-2022, which also could be anytime after May 2022. With that understanding, states have also started to open up their nominations because now they have a definite time frame. And also let me tell you that the citizens and the migrants who were stranded in India earlier have been able to fly back into Australia. So any kind of temporary ban on flights from India is all over. It's not happening anymore. Now we're just waiting for them to allow people to come into Australia, and once that happens, you will be permitted to go. And most importantly, you need to understand that when we're talking about the skilled migration process, we're not talking about a student visa, we're not talking about a visitor visa, which probably takes about a month or 2 months time to process, and you probably do need to fly out soon. We're talking about an immigration process which can easily take up to 8 to 10 or even 12 months. And if you start your process now, you will be just well in time to make it by the time the borders open. And also interestingly, once the visa is granted to you, be it a subclass 189, 190 or a 491 visa, the immigration department does give you an initial entry date, which can be up to 12 months. So you have another 12 months extension to make your initial entry to Australia. So I hope that concern should be resolved by now. Now, the next concern I've identified is that why should we start the process when the visa decisions, the files that are already lodged with the DHA, the Department of Home Affairs, are already delayed, or let's say they're pending and people are still awaiting decisions on their files? Well, let me tell you this, that as far as the delays in the visas are concerned, or if the files have been pending, I think that has more to do with the pandemic than anything else. You can say we've almost lost like a year and a half to the pandemic. The delays have been caused because of, could have been the shortage of staff, could have been because there are some integrity checks to be done and that were not happening at that time, or perhaps because the immigration department wasn't very clear as to by when would they be able to allow people to enter. So which is why the files were not being processed. But we don't see that happening now. We do see Australia's very strong resolve and commitment to actually start with the decisions and processing the files on time. Now the next third question or concern that I've identified is as to the nominations. When will the offshore nominations start? So a lot of people I've seen kind of linger on their decision to start with the skills assessment process, which is the first step of your migration process, probably because they want some sort of definite situation on the nominations opening up. So usually, and it's a little strange to me because when the states open up nominations, that is the time when people start to hurriedly apply for skills assessments, because they think, okay, now the states have opened, so that means now the immigration process has started. I wanted to just understand this is not how it works. You do need to get your skills assessment done, which takes about 3 months, and then that skills assessment is valid anything from 2 to 3 years time and is further renewable. And state nomination is something that is required after the skills assessment is done. So once the state's nomination open, ideally you should have your skills assessment ready with you. Sadly, a lot of you probably think that probably the opening of nominations is an indication that now the immigration process is started, and this is the time when you should start putting in your applications for skills assessment. So this is not something you should be looking at. You should be rather considering getting your skills assessment done, because you can only benefit from the state nominations once you do have your skills assessment ready with you. Now, the fourth concern I have identified is that which visa subclass would be the best for us, whether it is 189, whether it is 190, or it is 491. So, okay, 189 is very, very clear. Anybody who has his or her occupation listed on the MLTSSL list is the only person who can apply for a 189 visa. So, the tussle is basically between a 190 and a 491. Now, I do see a lot of people giving preference to a 190 with the understanding that 190 is a permanent visa, and you do not have to go through any kind of hassles once you get the visa, and it's an indefinite visa. Now, as far as 491 visa is concerned, I do tell most of my clients that Australia's approach seems to be focused upon filling the skills shortages in regional areas. So even though a lot of you may be eligible for a 190 visa, there is a huge possibility that the nomination that would be available to you could be available under 491 visa. And 491 visa, I'd like to repeat here, is not a temporary visa. It is a visa for those who intend to permanently live and work, of course, settle down in Australia. It is provisional permanent residence. There is a condition to be met, that is to be living in the regional area for 3 years and earning a certain income for 3 years. And after you've complied with these two conditions, the provision is removed, and then you're on PR, and then it's pretty much like a 190 visa. Next, and probably the last question is, how many points are enough? So we do know that the minimum points required for Australian skilled migration is 65. However, a lot of you go with the notion that those 65 is the cutoff, but probably only those with a much higher score are the ones who realistically stand a chance to get an invitation for a nomination or to be nominated. A lot of people think, I think I have a good case, but my points are only 70 or my points are only 75, and probably that's not enough. So I do understand there's a lot of unclarity about a lot of things. People tend to confuse the concepts applied to 189 and 491 relative sponsored visa to 190 and 491 state sponsored visa. I'd like to again repeat, when I say repeat, what I mean is I've already talked about these things in my previous videos, that the 491 visa is not a visa where the states are looking for applicants with a high score. For example, the recent NT, Northern Territory nominations that we received, many of those clients happen to be sitting at just 65 points. Now, South Australia is supposed to open up its nominations in July, and of course other states will also be opening up their nominations for offshore applicants very soon from July onwards. So they do not say that we need people with higher score. Yes, they may have their specific criteria for certain occupations only. Not for most occupations, only certain occupations. They might say that, okay, we need 7 bands in each section, or we need 2 years of work experience or 3 years of work experience, but they would not go on to say we need 75 points or we need 80 points. So generally for a 491 visa, people who are sitting at 65 points are just as good as those sitting at probably 90 points. So that should not really be a concern for you. So I'd like to hear from you regarding your queries. Please feel free to drop in your CVs on CaanWings@gmail.com. That is CAANWINGS @gmail.com, or you can also send it on enquiries@CaanWings.com. You can also call us on 78498 78498. Please send us your complete CVs with your date of birth. That is very, very important for me. And look forward to seeing CVs from you. I look forward to your questions. Would be very happy to answer those for you. Until the next session. Bye-bye and take care.